Welcome to Sports Express with Spencer Davidson. Brought to you by Scalzo, Zogby & Whitting and the law offices of Ricardo J. Morrow.
Coming up aboard the Express, the Comets look to begin November the same way they went through October, by winning games. They hosted the Providence Bruins. Plus, New Hartford looks for its first trip to the Carrier Dome in a decade as the Spartans took on Solvay in the Class B section semifinals. But first, time for tonight's big game, Class B semifinals out at VVS High School. Top seed and undefeated Oneida looking to advance to the Carrier Dome as they take on 4 seed Marcellus. Second quarter, right after the Mustangs take a 14-7 lead, the Indians respond. Jordan Clark over the top to Xander Farr, who has nothing but daylight in front of him. 64 yards to the house. 2-point conversion, no good. Oneida trails 14-13. With 3.5 minutes remaining in the half, Marcellus extends the lead. Nick Kermis 8 yards up the middle. Mustangs lead 21-13 at the break. In the third, Marcellus keeps the momentum. Kermis breaks free for a long gain. He's going to get tripped up just inside the 10, then sets himself up for another TD up the gut a couple of plays later. Mustangs on top 28-13. But here come the Indians. Stephen Caffalone slices through the D, takes it all the way to the 5, and then a couple of plays later finishes the job himself. This one's going to be from 2 yards out. Oneida within 7. 3 minutes later, it's Farr with a rushing touchdown this time, 22 yards, and after a failed 2-point conversion, the Indians trail by 1. They erase that lead completely in the fourth. It's Clark on the keeper, lowering the shoulder and driving over the goal line. A wild back and forth contest. A near last minute punt return touchdown for Clark seals it and sends Oneida to the Dome next week. They win 41-34. Hello everyone and welcome to Sports Express. So the Indians are heading to the Class B final with that thrilling win. They also remain unbeaten this year. To find out who they will play, we need to head out to Syracuse and Jamesville DeWitt High School. The other semifinal has the New Hartford Spartans looking to make it to the Dome for the first time since 2009. They took on Solvay. In the first here, Spartans down 7. Little trickery from NH. The pitch and then the long toss. That's Cam Story connecting deep with Colin Oskowski in the end zone. Great play. PAT no good, but the Spartans pull within 1. Then the Bearcats take the reins. First play of the second quarter, it's Brock Bogosian way down the sidelines, caught by Justin Scott for the 72-yard touchdown hookup. It's 14-6 Solvay. They make it 21-6 and then add to that in style. Russell Tarbell Jr. with the spin move breaks free and he's gone. 48 yards to the hole. Bearcats up big, 28-6. New Hartford finishes the half strong, though. It's Tyler Pataki calling his own number. Whoop! He's in from 15 yards. The Spartans kept it competitive, made it a game, but unfortunately, they just couldn't come all the way back. They fall 42-39 to end their year 7-2. It'll be Oneida against Solvay for the B title next week. In the Class A semifinals at General Brown High School, Whitesboro with the tough task of trying to take down top seed Carthage. First quarter, Jalen Jones goes in from a yard out. 6-0 Comets. In the second, Fumbo Azaz scores one of his 3 touchdowns on the night. He ran for 210 yards. 13-0 Carthage. Then it's Nick Cavalier on the keeper from a yard out. Comets jump out to a 21-0 lead. But Whitesboro shows a little fight before halftime. Nick Sardina goes 24 yards for the touchdown. 21-7 Carthage at the half. Third quarter, the Warriors pull to within 7. Sardina hits Zach Britt on the slant, and he goes 47 yards for the touchdown. Whitesboro within 7 at 21-14. Carthage answers and then adds. Cavalier seals it later in the third quarter on this spectacular 70-yard touchdown run, his third of the night, 34-14 Carthage. The Comets then roll to the Class A final with a 48-28 win. Whitesboro ends the year at 4-5. Up in Loudville, Class D semifinals, the Waterville Indians are heading to the Dome as they top Beaver River 7-6 in a low-scoring game. The winning touchdown came in the fourth quarter, a 9-yard pass from Cody Spooner to Tristan Graham to tie. The PAT then gave them the lead, which ended up sealing them the win and sending them to the final next week. So a couple of games intended for tonight had to be rescheduled due to flooding and cancellations. The Frankfurt Schuyler versus Dolgeville Class D semifinal will now take place tomorrow at Central Valley Academy in Ilion at 1:30 p.m. The winner of that game will take on Waterville at the Dome next week. The 8-man semifinal between West Canada Valley and South Louis will now be played tomorrow at 2 o'clock at Sequoia Valley High School. Class D semifinal again, 1:30 at CVA. 8-man semifinal, 2 o'clock in Sequoia. The Section 3 girls soccer finals brought local teams out to SUNY Cortland to compete for banners tonight. In Class D, Poland rolled to its third straight section title with a 4-1 win over Copenhagen. Riley Wishart scored all 4 goals for the Tornadoes in the win. Leah Basil had 2 assists. Poland now improves to 20-0 and advances to the regional round of the state tournament next week. In Class B, Central Valley Academy wins its first program section title with a 3-1 win over West Hill. Riley Rich, Jasmine Gillette, and Megan Kneep with the Thunder tallies in the win. They advance to the Class B regional final at 19-1 overall. Class C was a local matchup between the top 2 seeds, Little Falls and Waterville, and played as such. This one went through 3 overtimes tied at 1. So the teams share the section title. It's Little Falls' 4th straight and Waterville's 1st since 2010. The Mounties are advancing to the regional round, though, after winning a penalty kick shootout 5-4. So congrats to all those teams on all their success this year and on title banners. That takes us to our first break here on Sports Express. Up next, we'll introduce our latest athlete of the week. He's a brick wall in human form. We'll share just how dominant he's been over the last several weeks.
If you want to join the conversation on Twitter, use hashtag SportsExpress. This is Sports Express Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Scalzo, Zogby & Wittig and the law offices of Ricardo J. Morrow.
Welcome back to Sports Express. It's time now to unveil our Athlete of the Week. He's the last line of defense for his team, and with him in the cage, it's usually a pretty long night for the opposition. Andrew Pisnick, goalkeeper of the Westmoreland Oriskany boys soccer team, has had a run for the ages of late. He ended the regular season with 3 straight shutouts, then continued his stellar play in the postseason with 2 straight games, stopping a pair of shots in penalty kick shootouts to help the Bulldogs advance to the Section 3 Class C final. His heroics, stopping those PKs, along with 14 shots in the last time out in regulation and overtime against the top seed South Louis, now has the once thought of underdogs on the verge of a section title. Andrew takes a lot of pride in coming through in big moments for his team, and he says that he's had a great mentor to look up to along the way.
I've been playing goalie pretty much all my life. My dad was a goalie too, so I guess I kind of got those genes in me. I love doing what he was able to do because he was a very good goalie for the team he was for, and I aspire to be him because he's my dad. So to be able to do the same thing he was able to do, just as good, is a great feeling. It feels great to help our team out in any way I can, but in the end, my teammates were the ones who scored the goals too, so it wasn't just me who did everything. I just try and remain calm, just do everything I can to block everything else out, and just stay focused on what I need to do to win the game.
He's so valuable, you almost take him for granted, and you just kind of take care of other pieces, and that's a good thing because he's so composed back there, and he's just sort of a given. He's just, you can chalk up. We're going to have very few goals scored against us, very few dangerous chances, and then you can concentrate in practice and in game planning for other parts of the game. I feel bad for him sometimes because I kind of ignore him. Sometimes he's so good that I just kind of forget about him. That's the second one in a row that he's stopped 2 penalty kicks. And, I've been in a number of shootouts in my career, and they're nerve-wracking. They're always nerve-wracking. The last 2 haven't been because we knew Andrew was back there. Goalkeepers are a strange breed. You've got the kind that are boisterous and arrogant and in your face and intimidating, and they get the job done. And then you have people like Andrew that his defenders work for him because they respect him, because he's always instructing them, he's always positive, he's never negative, he never blames anybody when there was a goal scored, he blames himself, if anything, and who would want to play in front of him as a defender?
If you know of a high school athlete who deserves to be Athlete of the Week, as always, there's our contact info to send us who you would like to be nominated and why. All featured athletes will receive a plaque courtesy of C&Y Awards and Apparel. That's the metaphorical horn for period number 2 here on the Express. Next up, it's the ice. The Comets look to begin November the way they went through October, perfect. But the Providence Bruins had other ideas. Highlights are up after the break.
For final scores and video highlights from tonight's games, log on to WKTV.com. This is Sports Express, brought to you by Scalzo, Zogby & Wittig and the law offices of Ricardo J. Morrow.
Welcome back aboard the Express. The Utica Comets were on home ice tonight, putting their perfect 8-0 record on the line against the Providence Bruins. Coming into the night, Utica had the second most goals in the league and allowed the fewest in the league. We'll pick this one up 1-0 Bruins in the second period. Joona Koppanen takes the shot on goal. Mikey DiPietro stops it, but can't control the rebound. Koppanen gets the loose puck and puts in the wraparound. Bruins take the 2-0 lead. Comets had their chances in the third off the power play. Face-off, Francis Perron with the one-timer, glove save and a beauty by Maxim Legacy. Later, it's Perron again from the point, lets it rip, but Legacy was having none of it. He stopped all 34 shots he faced, and the streak is over. The Comets fall 2-0, suffering their first loss of the season. Next up, quick turnaround, the Rochester Americans right back here at the Adirondack Bank Center. That is tomorrow at 7. Now, some of the other things going on tomorrow, other than those football games that were rescheduled that I mentioned earlier in the show, the UC men's hockey team opens up their 2019-2020 regular season. They take on SUNY Canton at the Adirondack Bank Center at 2 o'clock. Proctor looking for a spot at the Dome in the Class AA semifinals tomorrow evening against Baldwinsville. That game will be taking place at 5 o'clock at VVS High School. And again, as you just saw, the Rochester Americans pay a visit back to the Aud. That's at 7 o'clock to the Adirondack Bank Center as the Comets look to shake off tonight's loss and get right back in the win column. And so a big day coming up tomorrow, and congrats to all the teams moving on to the next round. Congrats to the girls soccer teams that won banners today. Busy time of year, but that's what makes it fun. That's it for us. We'll see you back here next Friday night for another edition of Sports Express.
This has been Sports Express, brought to you by Scalzo, Zogby & Wittig and the law offices of Ricardo J. Morrow.